What's up, man? I'm gonna talk about this man, Jake Paul. Jake Paul is taking over boxing, man. I love it. Love that this man taking over boxing. Everybody want to whoop Jake Paul now. You got Tyron Woodley coming out saying he want to put hands on Jake Paul. It's a lot of rappers after he, bounced Nate Robinson head off the canvas, said that they want to fight Jake Paul. But I got a message for a lot of you guys out there that think y'all tough and think I'm street, I'm hood, and you about to bring this stuff to the boxing ring. The boxing ring has rules and regulations. You have distance. First, before you get in the boxing ring, you got to be in shape. Most people out here are not in shape. They think they're in shape. They can't even run a block, two or three blocks without falling out. You got to have timing. You got to have distance. You got to be able to punch correctly. And if you don't know how to do none of those things, I don't care if you got hood in you. I don't care if you knock people out in the streets. Most street fights don't last about no more than about 1 or 2 minutes anyway. Jake Paul got these rounds scheduled. This fight scheduled for 6-8 rounds. These niggas nobody's about to get in there and fight no 6-8 rounds. None of y'all. None of y'all that don't have no boxing background are not about to go in there on no street hood stuff and say, I'm about to knock out Jake Paul because I'm mad because he bounced Nate Robinson head off the canvas. He's a white boy and he knocked out that black boy, Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson shouldn't have got up in there. He knew he ain't had no hands. Well, at least he thought he had hands. He had street hands. He don't have boxing hands. And then in the streets, if your hand's not working, you can grab somebody in a street fight. You can't grab nobody in the boxing ring and slam them on their head. So y'all can go in there with that boy and get knocked out if y'all want to. I can see one of these high profile, maybe not high profile, but one of these rappers saying, okay, I'll go in there and knock you out. And Jake Paul's like, okay, fight me. And now, because his street credibility, his so-called street credibility may be coming to play, he gonna go in there and say, okay, I'll fight you. He gonna get knocked out. Because I understand what Jake Paul is doing. He's taking the Mayweather blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing about him, unlike Mayweather, he coming in with his followers. Mayweather had to build his followers up, whether it was haters or supporters. Mayweather had to build them up. Jake Paul coming in with how many people he got on YouTube? Millions. He's coming in with his base already. What, he sold 1 million pay-per-views, and then he was on that pay-per-view with Tyson and Roy Jones. I think that sold what 150. 1 million something, 1,500,000, something like that. Some people say 2 million pay-per-views sold. So he got a lot of eyes on him now. There's a lot of people that want to get at Jake Paul. Now all Jake Paul got to sit back and do is pick people off one by one. He's not finna fight no Tyron Woodley. He's not finna fight him. He got pretty good hands. He's not finna fight him. He's gonna fight someone else. Jake Paul is not from the streets, so he don't have to do this so-called street code stuff. He don't have to do that. He don't have to follow by those rules. He got his followers. No matter what he do, his followers gonna follow him, and they don't care if he turned down a Tyron Woodley fight. Tyron Woodley, I seen his interview, and what Tyron Woodley was talking about, it probably would work against someone else who was following street rules, but Jake Paul ain't following street rules. He making this money. He going out there picking guys off. Ben Askren wanted to fight him too. Ben Askren was talking, he wanted to fight him. So okay, Ben, come on. Unbeknownst to me, Ben Askren had a hip replacement 6-7 months ago. And I was like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, he finna get knocked out. Man, you can't go in there into a boxing ring, you 6 months off a hip replacement, and you finna go in there. When he was in there, his movement wasn't even all that. I seen in the first 30 seconds to a minute that he's about to get knocked out because he not controlling the distance. His best chance of even making it a fight was to grapple, get him in a clinch and kind of do some dirty boxing. What Tyron Woodley was saying, he said that was the game plan. The game plan was do dirty boxing, tie Jake Paul up, hit him to the body, get him tired, and maybe about 4th, 5th round, they could start taking advantage of the situation. But he couldn't even control the distance because this man had a hip replacement, and he not good with his hands anyway. You're not finna go in there and look, man, I done seen so many people play tough, you know what I'm saying, come in our gym, they knocking people out in the street. Oh, I knock people out in the street. I remember my cousin, oh man, I knock people out in the street. Okay. He got in there and sparred with me. It was like a fish out of water. He breathing heavy. After the first round, he was breathing heavy within the first minute of the fight, minute of sparring. I was just sparring with him. I wasn't even throwing no punches at him. I wasn't even hitting him with no punches. I was just dressed down in defense, and he was throwing all the punches. He was tired, grasping for air in the first minute of the sparring match. So I know how it's gonna go. One of these rappers gonna get in there. I'm tough, and gonna get knocked out. Gonna get cleaned up by that boy. That boy, he can punch. One thing he can do, he can punch. Now, if he fights somebody that's more polished, that got some boxing background, oh yeah, he himself is gonna get ate up because he's wide open for a lot of shots that I see. But in order for him to get hit by those shots, someone has to take advantage of those shots, his mishaps, and the people that he's picking are not going to be able to take advantage of his mishaps. And it's reported that him and his brother been training for 3, 4, 5 years. That's enough time for you to get at least a base in boxing. That's enough. That's more than enough time. And they understand how to get in shape and all that stuff. So you got to have wind in your lungs. You want to go in there and knock that boy out, or think you finna fight that boy. Oh, I'll fight him. You got to have wind in your lungs. You don't have no wind in your lungs, you're not going to win. That boy going to knock you out. He's taking over boxing. Forget about Canelo and them. This man is taking over boxing. He's creating a new platform, a new strategy for this stuff. And look, they were able to, Regis Prograis is fighting on his undercard. Regis Prograis, a former world champion, is fighting under Jake Paul's platform, undercard. So, look, man, I love it because boxing has been taking their own sweet time with these fights that need to be happening, and they think that the fans are going to be there all the time to support them. Now Jake Paul is coming in, taking over boxing. All y'all that thought y'all was going to be big stars, Jake Paul is coming in, taking over boxing overnight. Literally, he did this overnight. This dude was able to do this literally overnight. Take over boxing. And I'm glad that he's taking over boxing. I'm happy because y'all been dragging y'all feet. MMA, mixed martial arts, they doing it right. Dana White got them boys fighting. You cannot dodge or duck anybody in mixed martial arts. And people will say, well, that's a different platform. Those guys are under the same banner. Dana White running everything. Okay, that's all the more reason why Dana White could let people duck people, because he's running everything. But he's making people fight. You have to fight. He told John Jones, you got to fight Ngannou, the guy that just knocked out Stipe from Africa. You got to fight him. You got to fight the tough fights. In boxing, they've been doing this for a long time, dragging their feet. I don't want to fight this guy. I don't want to fight that guy. And now, Jake Paul has come in and taken y'all thunder. Jake Paul, do your thing. And I understand what Jake Paul is. I know he's not a guy that's finna go out there immediately and start fighting a credible opponent. So people that's calling him to fight credible opponents, he wants you to do that. He wants you to think that he has to fight a credible opponent. He just building up all the haters, going out there and knocking out. You now see he knocked out the guy from the UFC. He knocked out the guy from Nate Robinson from basketball. So he done cleaned up 2 sports. He cleaned up basketball and he cleaned up the MMA. He got the basketball players mad at him, and he got the MMA people mad at him. Now all he do go knock out a football player, because it's gonna be a football player that's gonna want to fight him and think they got hands. If you don't have no wind in your lungs, that boy gonna knock you out, because he's gonna take you to the deep waters. You have the first minute to go in there and go all out and try to knock that boy out. But then you're going to leave yourself open because you don't understand distance. You don't understand punch range. You don't understand none of that stuff. All you understand is, I'm about to go out there and I'm about to be hood. I'm from the hood. And he gonna be knocking out these guys and keep on having y'all call out y'all favorite fighter saying, I want my favorite fighter to fight him. I want somebody like Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence or Canelo to fight him. And then by the time when a 1 year pass and 2 years pass, and then he gets a little bit more knowledge under his belt and more fights under his belts, more rounds under his belts, he may take on one of your favorite fighters, and he gonna make a lot of money because y'all been waiting for a long time. He's taking the Mayweather blueprint. Remember how Mayweather did with him in the Pacquiao situation? They dragged it, and then they made all that money. People want him to fight Conor McGregor. You got Dana White wants someone from the MMA to go fight the man and clean him up. He's going to try to send one of those guys over there and clean him up. But Jake Paul is not going to... He's not going to fall for that. He's not going to fight anyone that he think that can clean him up. Why? Why would he mess with his money? He's a celebrity knockout artist. He going to knock out these celebrities first. Because there's a lot of them out there that think they can mess with Jake Paul. They think he's a sucker because he's a white boy. How? Come on, man. He don't have hands like that. Go in there and find out. I want one of y'all to go in there. The most hood person you think you can find. There's a rapper or a football player or basketball player. Y'all go in there and try that boy. And you're going to be a meme, just like Nate Robinson. Y'all remember when he got hit by that last punch? His head was skidding on the canvas like do. It bounced a couple times. That's gonna be y'all. Go in there and mess with that boy. That boy gonna rattle y'all teeth. Because you don't have no wind in your lungs. Most people, the average person walking around out here not in shape. What's up, Brandon? The average person out here walking around is not in shape. I know. You're not going to be able to go in that ring, schedule 6-8 rounds, and do anything with Jake Paul. Jake Paul is going to knock out all y'all celebrities. All y'all celebrities going to get cleaned up by that boy. He came out with his big old robot. Y'all seen the big robot? With the lights, with the fog behind him? Man came out there, Ben Askren, looking old and decrepit, walking slow and moving slow in the ring. It's good that the referee stopped that fight. Ben Askren said, well, hey, that's a bad... No, that was a great stoppage because you don't have the meme that Nate Robinson had when Nate Robinson got up 3 times. If Nate Robinson would have got knocked down that second time and stayed down, it wouldn't have been that bad. But he fell on his face and bounced and kind of slid on his forehead, on his baby dreads. You see how he had his dreads was coming, and he slid on his dreads. He had his dreads on his forehead like this, and he that's how it was. And I'm gonna tell you this. Jake Paul gonna play on y'all emotional strings because there's a lot of emotional people out here, especially these emotional grown men. It's a lot of emotional grown men out here. He's gonna play on your heartstrings, on your emotional strings, your menstrual, and he's gonna get, what's up, man? And he's gonna get your favorite rapper or your favorite football player or your favorite basketball player in the ring, gonna knock him out, and you're gonna be more emotional. That's how he making his money. Kudos to Jake Paul. I give Jake Paul a lot of credit. He getting in there. At first, his brother was the big name. Logan Paul was a big name. Do not care for this clown. No. I care for him. You know why? Because boxing let this happen. Boxing not handling their business and getting in the ring and fighting these fights that we need to have, and these fighters not fighting, and these fighters don't want to get in the ring. All they want to do is talk about A side, B side. I'm glad Jake Paul was able to slide in here and take over boxing. If this don't wake them up, if this don't wake the fighters up in boxing, nothing will. We got Jake Paul in here knocking people out, knocking out celebrities, knocking out your favorite celebrity. When Nate Robinson got knocked out, it was plenty of rappers came on. I seen him on IG, Instagram, crying. Man, how can he knock out Nate like that, man? I want to get at him. Yeah. I want to get out Nate Robinson. I mean, Jake Paul for knocking out Nate Robinson. Get your ass in. Get in there. I want you to get in there and you fight Jake Paul. And you're going to end up just like Nate Robinson because you don't have no win. You're not in shape. The average fight in the street lasts about a minute to 3 minutes long. Maybe, if that. I seen many street fights in Chicago growing up. They don't last that long. You get in that boxing ring, you're going to get cleaned up because you don't understand distance. You don't understand punch selection. You don't have no wind in your lungs. Your lungs are heavy after a minute. What happens you in the ring and you in front of that boy and your lungs get heavy after a minute? And now you panicking because your lungs get heavy. You can't breathe, that mouthpiece in your mouth. You feel like you claustrophobic. Those gloves on your hand. You feel like, man, I feel claustrophobic. I feel like I can't move. And then that boy Jake Paul throw that overhand right and knock you out. Just like Nate Robinson, you're going to be on your braids like that. You know, skidding on the pavement. And that's another celebrity knocked out and people in an uproar. When is somebody going to get this boy Jake Paul? Jake Paul, even in the celebrity world, in the athletic world, he's on everybody is talking about Jake Paul. So y'all doing all the work for him, putting his name out there. His name is out there in the atmosphere. Now all he has to do is just pick one of you guys off. We understand he can't fight everybody. So he gonna just pick off some guys. He not gonna fight Tyron Woodley. He gonna pick off one of these guys and say, okay, you wanna fight? Come on. And the rapper, if he call out a rapper, they have to fight him because it's street cred. He's not gonna be able to sell no records. He's not gonna be able to show his face. He's not gonna be able to do anything if he don't go in there and fight that boy. They're gonna say, you scared of that white boy? They're gonna hype him up, get him all hyped up, get his chest pumped, put the battery in his back. See that right there? Put the battery in his back. And send that boy out there on a wild goose chase. He's gonna get knocked out in front of the world. And Jake Paul gonna be raising his hands again. I did it. Crying on the mat. I did it. I knocked out another celebrity. Another million. It all depends on what celebrity it is. Another million pay-per-views. So he gonna keep selling his pay-per-views. Knocking these boys out. And when he fight Earl Spence or Terence Crawford or Canelo, he gonna be the A side. Imagine Jake Paul being the A side to your favorite fighter. Jake Paul, I hate messing with my boy Boss Nodge. I'm gonna mess with Boss Nodge just a little bit. I know y'all don't know. It's one of my guys I be talking to, but he more known in boxing than Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade was on the U.S. boxing team. Demetrius Andrade went to the Olympics. And this boy, Jake Paul, he want to fight Demetrius Andrade. He going to be the A side. He going to be the A side to Terence Crawford. He going to be the A side to Earl Spence. He almost about to be the A side to Canelo. A couple more fights, he going to be the A side to Canelo. And that's it. So this man is the A side. He going to be the A side of boxing. That boy, Jake Paul, is knocking mugs out. Jake Paul is my favorite fighter. That's my dude. Jake Paul. I'm rolling with Jake Paul. He's undefeated, got 100% KO. But he's 190 pounds, so he's a cruiserweight. The best cruiserweight, one of the best cruiserweights in boxing history. He got 100% knockout ratio. You know what I'm saying? One of the best cruiserweights in boxing history. Selling pay-per-views all over the place. Man, Jake Paul is my favorite fighter. I can't wait to see what Jake Paul do next, man. I'm out. Jake Paul, boy, running this thing.